Okay, good morning. It is testing time again here. I have put the new 12 volt battery pack together, the second 12 volt battery pack, and I've got everything hooked up. I've got the cell meter 7 hooked up. The Innova is actually put in line here. The inverter is on. This is on. This is connected to the auxiliary battery. This little gauge here is for the auxiliary battery, so we're going to kind of ignore that. And now I need to turn the load on so that the GT will come on. I will be running the GT off the auxiliary battery, but I do not have the connector, the little 3-pin connector, to be able to power this up with the auxiliary battery. But I did order it off of eBay. It's got to come all the way from Hong Kong, so in a couple of months that'll arrive and we can hook that up. I wish I knew a local place here to go buy it. I would, but I've looked around online and I can't find anything, so kind of silly that a little part that costs 70 cents has to come all the way from Hong Kong and take a long time, but that's the way it goes. So let's hit our load here, turn the load on, and look at some readings here. So cell meter 7 is telling me I've got 12.48 volts. The battery pack is nicely balanced there, so there's no need to go through each cell on that. The Innova is telling me I got 12.45 volts. Very similar to that. The charge controller is telling me I got 12.3. I'm missing the last number on that, so I can't tell you exactly how close that is. This thing, this cheap little volt and amp meter, is telling me I got 12.7 volts, so that's pretty far off. The GT is telling me I got 12.45 volts, so these four seem to be very similar. This one seems to be pretty far off. It's just the way it is. So now it's time to connect the load up, because today we're going to, well, slide this over here and bring our load over here, the halogen lamps. So the ground, of course, is fused. By the way, I got fusing everywhere here. The battery pack has got its own fuse right here. This is all temporarily rigged up. That's why it looks kind of stupid with alligator clips, but it is fused. There's a 5 amp fuse in there. And the load is fused. And my auxiliary battery is also fused. So if anything goes haywire here, which can happen, I am protected. These are 5 amp fuses. This is on the ground side, so it's probably hard to see, but my hot wire for the load is going to come off the terminal, and it's this wire right here that the positive of the Innova meter is connected to, and then the ground is up here. The negative is for the ground. These are all grounded, so that's the way I've got it rigged up. And my power leads are right here. They're all separate because I don't know that this thing will be able to handle more than one, but I really want to try them all out here. So let's go ahead and find my cable for the hot. Oh, it's inside here. Okay. So there's how I'm going to power this up. Again, I know this is very, very archaic, but it's just the way I'm going to do it right now. So let's just connect that up. Actually, I'm going to do it like this. Well, I need to disconnect that. We don't actually need the Innova connected. Alright, let's just connect this up As I said, if anything goes haywire, I'm double fused here. So let's go ahead and connect this up. I would expect an error to happen. It seemed like when I did this with the first 12 volt pack, it took a minute for the inverter to do its thing. So we got a good view of that, hopefully. Let's go ahead and just connect this. Actually, let's disconnect our load and connect this up. That's a smart way to do it. So there we go. Now let's turn the load on and see what happens. And the inverter is kind of thinking. It's kind of wet. There it goes. It took a minute to. It had to do some thinking there. So I got one halogen going. It's very bright, but this coffee can is helping out tremendously. So suddenly my capacity controller is down to 11.9 volts. The inverter is 11.7. This is 11.74, and this is 11.49. Amps are being pulled on this at 4.10. On this, amps are 4.40. Again, quite a bit of difference between these. I definitely trust this one a lot more. And what else? Watts. Sorry. The watt reading is 51.1 watts right now. That's pulling 150 watt bulb. That's putting out a lot of heat right now. That could heat up a very small room here in my house. Well, that's one bulb. Let's go ahead and shut that off and see what two bulbs will do. So, get the load shut off. Let's quickly just disconnect. I know this is kind of, some of you guys might be saying this is really stupid, but it's really a temporary way. And I would not be doing this at all if I did not have my fusing, my two fusing 5 amp fuses in place. So that feels pretty good. So once again, let's hit our load here. And again, the inverter goes into a major thinking mode for a long time now. And that may be too much for it. It's really taken a long time. Batteries are not getting tremendously hot. It's trying, but nothing is happening there. As you can see, this thing keeps flashing. Alright, it's been too long. I don't believe it was going to start. It's probably, that's 100 watts that I'm trying to pull. So let's go ahead and connect this one up and just make sure there isn't something wrong with that particular bulb. There we go. It takes right off. So I'm running one halogen there. So it appears that 150 watt halogen is all it's going to be able to handle. Let's snap that off and try the other bulb, because I don't actually know that they all work. I'm assuming they all work. I didn't test them out. Okay. Presto, again, it's thinking. There it goes. All right, well, so a 12 volt pack is only going to be able to run 150 watt halogen. So let's hit a timer here. Get the old German stopwatch out. And we'll time how long this is going to take. I got a long time out of this before the first pack. What the heck? Okay, there we go. Well, I will just let this run. Again, testing out this pack, but More importantly, I'm going to bottom balance this. So this is a perfect opportunity. 11.57 is what I'm getting with the Innova. 11.6, 11.61, 11.85, 11.8. So now these 2 meters seem to be off. There is one more test I want to try here. Okay, I quickly shut the test off because I forgot there was one more test I wanted to do. I wanted to test the amps with the Innova against the GT. So in order to do that, you got to switch your over here. It can only test up to 10 amps. I know I'm not pulling that much. So I've already set it. I've actually put it, you got to put your probes in line. So I've disconnected the load that would have connected here, and I put my probes in line. So now the current is going to flow through that. So let's turn it on. Right now it's not pulling anything. Let's hit our load. And again, it's taking a bit. There it goes. It just started up. Batteries are doing okay. So my Innova is telling me I'm pulling 4.2. It's dancing between 2.0 and 2.1. So 4.2 amps. This one is, the GT is telling me 4.1. It's kind of fluctuating. It's getting all the way up to 19. That's very, very close. You know, I'm concerned about my batteries getting really hot, but everything seems good. 11.6 volts, 11.83 volts, 11.8, 11.6 volts. I can't test with this now because it's in use with the amps. So I kind of disrupted my testing here. Let's go ahead and restart our timer. It's not going to be quite as accurate as the other one, but I'm going to go ahead and let this thing go. So yeah, it seems to be doing okay. So 4.15 amps, 4.6. There's a little difference there. 46 watts, 3.93 amps. Yeah, there's definitely difference in what all of these things are reading. Again, I don't know what is completely accurate. I'm assuming these two are, since they're more expensive, but who knows? I mean, this cheap little thing and the capacity controller, which also is very inexpensive, could be more accurate than these, but who knows? So anyway, let's come back. We've been running our test for about 3 minutes here. Getting pretty warm there. That's putting out a lot of heat, but I'm just going to let this thing roll. I can turn the Innova off, and everything still seems to be good. So keep a close eye on this and come back with results a little bit later on.